Hello, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT in your own personal programming projects. Just say you want to make your own custom chatbot, for example, with a different interface, or you want to automate it, I don't know, reading your emails and letting you know which ones are most important. Anything you want, really. Um, of course, you can have a back and forth dialogue with ChatGPT, but when you automate it within code, it can run automatically and it can perform much more custom things that you specifically want. Cool. So now we are on the ChatGPT website, and beyond having a back and forth dialogue, I'll give to your attention that there are GPTs where you can modify the system prompt. Right, so this is more powerful. Modifying the system message is more powerful than just talking to ChatGPT. I think you can also add a lot more data to it, so it knows sort of more customized things. What you might not know is that ChatGPT has a second area for developers. So this has a much more complex user interface. I would recommend you become familiar with it. It's not so scary once you start using it. But what we are interested in is to get the API key, right? So if you get the API key, you can use this within your own code. And the purpose of this, second area platform is to use it in your own code. You just click on create new secret, copy that secret down, don't share it with anyone. And you're pretty much good to go to start using it. One thing you do need to know is, though ChatGPT might be $20 a month, this API key is pay as you go. But note that you can set a limit to how much you spend, and I think the most recent change is you pay first and then you spend it. I think I might be on the old system still, but yeah. So essentially, you can limit how much you're spending, so don't worry too much. And I would recommend you use ChatGPT 3.5 because that is, or 3.5 Turbo, because that is a lot cheaper. Cool. So now we have the API key. Now, how do you use it in code? I assume you've got Python installed, and I would recommend you to install something called Jupyter. Either Jupyter or VS Code or some other development environment. The reason I recommend a notebook, I've also used notebooks within VS Code, but with notebooks it's just a lot easier to prototype Python code. And we're going to see that later on. We'll have a short pair programming session together. One little tip is I myself install Jupyter via something called Anaconda. So if I install Anaconda, along with it provides Jupyter. The power of Anaconda, or the main benefit, is Anaconda also has a lot of other data science tools and AI ML packages along with it. So as myself an AI engineer, it's just much simpler to download all of this at once rather than one by one. Cool. So at this point, I assume you have Jupyter installed already. Now, how do you get up and started with it? You basically need to start something up called the terminal, which is this black box over here. It's also known as the shell, or in Windows, maybe the command prompt or Windows PowerShell. What you want to do is navigate to the folder of interest, or the folder where you want to keep these notebooks. Maybe it's your desktop. For myself, I keep it within Dropbox in a folder called Notebooks. And to start it up, you just type in Jupyter-notebook. And actually, if you are using Anaconda, you can start up Jupyter Notebooks using the Anaconda interface. So use whatever you're comfortable with. So let me run it. Cool, it's just starting up now. So you can see I've created this folder called AI tutorials, and you might notice this file called secrets.py. I've put the API key that I've created here into this file, and the reason being I don't want to show it to anyone. So it's just a little bit safer just to have it here. I've created this file called introduction, for this little video, and you want to install the OpenAI package. You can do that by doing pip install, and if you want to run that, because this is not Python code, this is a shell command or terminal command. So you can either run this within PowerShell, but you need to install it within the Python kernel, meaning the Python environment. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to just run it within a notebook in the Python environment that you are using. So for that, I can press run, and of course it's already installed. One tip, you can press Shift Enter to run. So I'm going to run this, Shift Enter, and it ran that. And I'm not going to print this out, I've just placed it there just to show you what the variable name is. Cool. So now we've got Jupyter Notebooks up and running, we've got our API key. I will like to draw your attention to the documentation that OpenAI provides. It is a good idea to become familiar with this. They do have some tutorials, and a lot of the newest things might be here. And any questions you might have might already be answered somewhere here. I'm just in the quick start right now, just to show you. So in the quick start, it takes you through installing your Python environment, setting up your API key. There are other ways of using it. And we are going to use the chat completion, but note that they also have embeddings and images if you want to generate images. For now, let's stick to just chat completion, which is just a regular chat dialog. And we're going to place it here. Now, before I place in the API key, let's run it just to show you what will happen. Cool. So it says it can't find the API key, and it expects it within the environment variable. Now, I did say it's within the secrets file, not the environment variable. For now, I prefer to do this just because it gives me a lot more control. So let's just put this in. So now I'm going to run it again with a Shift Enter, and it's pinging OpenAI, and it returned this back. Of course, this looks a bit ugly, so let's clean it up. Paste it here. You can see that the actual text is within here, and it's within this thing called content. So let's copy this, do .content. Ooh, and paste it out quite nicely. Now, rather than just leave you with this, let me at least show you a bit of refactoring. So right out of the bat, as someone who's been programming for a while, you end up developing some habits, and you don't like certain code structures. So for this, I don't like, for example, that this overflows. So I'm going to pay, and actually it's easier to just put it into its own variable. So this is the system message. Of course, it says system, so this is a system message, and I shall put it here. So we've just created a variable. I want to create the user message too. Let's do that. Cool. Personally, I would like to have more control over the model that runs, so that it's easier to modify later. Cool. So this cell itself is quite nice. Let me just clear everything up. I still don't like that this overflows. What I'm going to do is use triple quotes, which allow you to put things over multiple lines. So that a triple quote, a string or text within triple quotation mark only finishes once it sees another triple quotation mark. Whereas if you do this, it's not going to work. That's bad code. This backslash I'm placing technically escapes the new line character. Like this is a new line character. What that means is that this is the same as this from the code's point of view. Cool. So now I've modified this code a bit, imported the secrets and OpenAI, created the client. I've got the variables containing the model and the different messages, and then we're pinging OpenAI, and then we're printing it out for ourselves to see. Let's run it. Let's do restart and run all. when you restart, it's quite a clean run. A lot of the times I do tend to do a restart, as if you just do run all, sometimes you might not catch bugs, and then you might, when the next time you do restart, for example a week later, you run it, you get a bug. So I do prefer to do restart and run all sometimes. Yeah, and either way, you can see that we have the code over here. At this point, you're free to change the system message, the user message, and you can actually use the content. I'll leave you at that for this video. Thank you very much for watching.